Let's now talk about some additional template files, which I like to refer to as secondary template files. These are template files that are not quite as important as the main template files like the header.php or the index.php or the footer.php and so on and so forth. An example here would be the comments.php. Obviously, by the name, this is the template file for displaying comments. It's not the most important template file out there. You could actually even control how comments are displayed directly from the single.php template file. The thing about secondary template files is that they are there to make the coding a bit easier, to make the coding a bit more distributed across template files so that you don't have too much code inside of one single template file. That's the main purpose of secondary template files. They are nice to have, they play a role, but again, they are not quite as important as the core template files. Let's take a look at some other themes like the 2015 theme, and in here we have the author-bio.php. Again, this is a template for displaying author bios. So again, it's not the most important template file out there. It does play a role, but again, it's not like the header.php or the index.php. Let's take a look at another theme like the 2017 theme, which has one here called the search form.php. So you will very likely find many of these secondary template files in many WordPress themes. You will have the core ones out there, you will have the secondary ones, and then you will quite possibly also have the custom template files as well. We'll take a look at all these template files a bit later as well. But before I round up this video, let's talk about two very important files that you will find in any WordPress theme. They technically are not template files, but they play a very huge role in determining how WordPress will display your contents. The very first one would be the functions.php, and boy, this is a template file we are going to spend a lot of time on. This is basically the template file that contains every single function. Well, not every single function, but the majority of functions that we have in our WordPress website. The reason why I'm saying majority and not all is because many themes out there also tend to break up the functions.php. They might add, let's say, 70% of all the functions code inside of the functions.php, and then the remaining 30%, they might distribute all those functions in other template files as well. So it's not every time that the functions.php contains all the functions that we have in our WordPress website. So take note of that. But you will very likely find the vast majority of your functions contained inside of the function.php template file. So whenever you have a function for creating a new sidebar, or for creating a new template file, or for creating a new kind of custom post type, such functions will typically be contained inside of the functions.php. Now, in here as an example, you can see right now that we have some functions for adding title tags, support for title tags, for adding support for post thumbnails as well. You have a function here that allows people to create menus and so on and so forth. So we will create lots of our own custom functions as we progress in the course. But again, functions.php is a template file you will very likely find in just about every single WordPress theme out there. And let's talk about one more file, which is of course the style.css. Now, this is the most important file ever. And what's actually strange is that all this file does is control how the content is actually displayed. This is where you will have the declarations for how your text would look like, how the logo will appear, how big would it be. You have your margins, your paddings, your borders, your coloring, everything, your background images. All the styling is basically declared inside of the style.css template file. The reason why I said it is the most important file is because you cannot have a WordPress theme without the style.css template file. In fact, style.css and the index.php are the two most important files in any WordPress theme. You cannot have a WordPress theme without both of these two template files. So that's it for the functions.php and the style.css. Again, throughout this course, we're going to be spending a lot of time on the functions.php and the style.css template files. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next class.